What up, y'all? Turn this game down. While Luka jacking up 2 threes, trying to hit 30 points in what is a 92-57 point Mavs lead. Kyrie finally beat the Celtics after leaving Boston. The Celtics' 10-game win streak has been broken. And their road playoff victory winning streak has been broken. So they have their first loss on the road and in Dallas. So what's interesting is there was a tweet that went around that said I think Scott Foster was calling the game, and people were halfway joking that we were definitely having a game 5 and the Fitz was in. And Mavs, I think I saw where the Celtics typically have a good record when they play, and Kyle will be on in a minute. We ain't gonna be on here long because there's really nothing to talk about. But that the Cavs really they do have a good record when Foster is refereeing. I didn't look at the stat or the number, so I don't know how true that is. But looking at the lack of calls early on in this game, it seems like it's still amazing to me that Tatum does not get superstar calls. But Luka gets all the touch calls. And Brown got hacked in one game. You can hear it through the TV. But more importantly, this game came down to Boston just not making shots. They were shooting and probably still are shooting around 30% from the field. The bench has been atrocious. Pritchard has been awful in this whole series. And I think the concerning thing for me would be rim protection. Dallas was able to get to the rim at will, and they were scoring in the paint, and they pretty much got whatever they wanted. So these games, when you have big blowouts like these, they're hard to carry over to the next game. So they become somewhat anomalies based on what the Celtics have been doing and playing so far. They were probably due for a stinker. They've lost at least a game in each round except against the Pacers, which they should have lost game 1 too. But Rick Carlisle calls them that. And here we are. Nobody for Boston showed up. They looked lackadaisical. They just didn't play well. And even early on, it looked like Dallas was a little tight. And once they started hitting some shots, I think Derrick Jones Jr. did that in and out. That they got confidence, and maybe it's one of those things where we just don't want to get swept, like Anthony Edwards did. But listen, looking at it right now, Boston, 37% from the field, 33 from 3. They're getting killed on the boards, so that's not good. So that and yeah, they just didn't play with any effort. And what happened was, and what I noticed is that when the threes were not falling, and they didn't go to a secondary game plan. And even there were times when they were at the rim, they could have taken shots. They're immediately passing the ball out to the 3-point line. And I would like to see them try to finish more at the rim. So, it's just they look like they just don't care. And here we are. So I don't know, man. I agree with you, Kilo Beatsaw. Like, if Boston would have won, if Mavs would have won game 3, this game would be significant. Now, somehow, the Mavs got to find a way to win 4 straight, and that's going to be tough because I still haven't seen peak Boston yet. We still haven't seen them hit their threes at a high clip. We still haven't seen Tatum go off. Jaylen Brown was ass tonight. Derek White was awful tonight. Drew Holiday got praised in that game too. We haven't seen him since then. And Horford, I don't even know, he's not doing shit either. So here we are. But look, more than likely the series is over. We've never seen anybody come down from 3-0. But I put this in the chat. If there's anybody that will blow their first 3-0 lead in the finals, it would be Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Without KP though, so highly unlikely. But yeah, it's especially with 2 more games at home in Boston, like it's probably not gonna happen. But you never know. So you never know. About to put Kyle on stage.
Yep.
What up, Kyle?
What up? What's going on?
Nothing much. One thing I was about to say, and what I'm disappointed by with Boston is that they never made a run or a push
Never.
at any given moment in this game. And it's all they really just quit. And it's almost like they were like, oh, we got game 5 at home. And what I don't like about that is that a lot of things that I've been reading, been saying like the mentality of them have been different this year as opposed to last year. So I would have loved to see them come out with way more focus. I mean, shit, Missoula had to pull everybody they were playing. So
right.
so I don't know, man. They just it's almost like they didn't care.
Yeah, there's a level of complacency that's set in, and you hate to see it because these are professionals. So you think, okay, everybody's gonna show up, everybody's gonna ball, everybody's gonna play like it's like they're one win away from taking a championship. And to really come out and lay an egg like this, like I didn't expect that. I thought for sure Boston would flex and do what they're supposed to do tonight, but this was bad. I mean, and what's unfortunate is, other than maybe a 5-10 minute run, we really haven't had a competitive series from a fan standpoint. Let's just knock out. Let's say you're not even a fan of either team. It hasn't been competitive at all. And I mean, people are talking about the ratings and everything like that, and it's been a letdown from the conference finals, from the semifinals. I really enjoyed like the Denver Minnesota series, but this I mean, this right here has been it's been disappointment. I want, and I don't have a dog in the fight. I want to see a competitive game. I don't like, y'all know me, I don't like blowouts, but it's just been whack.
Yeah, and that's why I said in the chat, like I really was hoping Boston ended this tonight. None of the games, like they're not interesting.
No.
I don't care who wins one way or the other, but you're right. We haven't seen anything close or competitive at all, and it's been disappointing. And there's nobody really doing anything. Like Luka puts up his points, but he starts off hot and then he cools off.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll put up 23, and then I think he in game 3 or whatever, I think he put up 23 in the first half, and then he was like 1 for 4, had 9 points the rest of the game. He was more consistent this game, but
Right.
But that's about it. And Tatum is frustrating to watch because he just be fumbling the ball over and over again, and Brown I guess he just decided to take the night off.
Clearly.
Yeah, he was pretty bad tonight too. And I think Missoula, I think, could get them right for game 5, because I think their heavy reliance on the 3 and just waiting for the numbers to turn in their favor really hurt them from a strategic standpoint, a game plan standpoint, because there were times when they would be at the rim, I was saying earlier, and they would pass it out for a 3. And the threes would be contested because at this point, Dallas know that that's what they're going to do. So they'll just run to the damn 3-point line. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in game 5. I know they'll be at home. They'll they'll play a lot. They should play a lot better.
Should.
Yeah, they definitely have shown resilience and been able to rebound. It's just as interesting. I'm hearing the announcer talking about, oh, this is what Luka does after a loss. I'm like, he lost 3 straight. Like,
Right.
anything. What are y'all gassing him up for? He's
Yeah,
played
what you
well
waiting on?
tonight. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because it's like, I don't know, man. I was sitting there watching as we were texting in the group chat. Like, I've been watching basketball. I've been watching NBA since 1980. So I'm older than probably everybody listening and everybody watching, or at least most people. And I'm trying to think, Ken, like, I don't remember basketball, and I know I'm gonna sound old when I say this. I don't remember basketball when we were coming up in the playoffs and in the finals just being blowouts. Like you might get 1 or 2 blowouts, maybe, but not in one series. You would never have like more than 1 blowout in a series. Every now and then you're gonna catch somebody slipping, you're gonna catch them on an off night or whatever, it happens. But I mean, these are the best of the best teams. So really to see that type of lack of effort and inconsistency, and I mean, I'm not just saying just Boston and Dallas. We've seen this each year. And it really permeates in the finals. And even if we go back to, like I was thinking earlier, back to like LeBron's finals when he was in Miami, those weren't blowouts. From what I remember, those were close games against, San Antonio. I mean, like back and forth, 6-point lead here, 8-point lead here, but I mean, not games where teams just got blown off the floor. So it's just, as a fan, it's just frustrating to watch because I know that Dallas can play better. I know that Boston can play better. As a fan who has nothing invested in the game or the outcome, I just want to see a competitive game. That's it. I want to see a nail biter. I want to see a buzzer beater. I want to see what we get, like in the NCAA tournament. That's what the playoffs basketball used to be for me. Now it's just like teams are just out there. You catch somebody hot, you catch somebody, cold, or whatever the case may be. It's weird, man. It's weird to watch. And like I said, I understand everybody's not going to see this perspective because I've been watching basketball for so long, but I just don't remember a lot of finals and a lot of playoff games where there were just multiple blowouts in a series. I mean, like we really have only had like 10 minutes of competitive basketball, and that was when they were down by 21 points or 25 points, and they came back.
Yeah. No, I agree. Unless you're a Boston fan, you definitely haven't been entertained by what you're seeing because Luka's putting up numbers. But gone are the days when LeBron would put up crazy numbers and it looks insane, or Curry would go off and it looks, or Clay would go off and it looks crazy. KD as well. But I think watching this early on, and Nick called Dallas to win.
He did.
I it felt like they were gonna win, but I was like, nah, I think Boston wants to end it. So I hope, we often say, and I've seen people saying in the chat that they just want to win it at home. You can't play those games.
No, you can't. Because I mean, anything can happen. We've seen guys roll an ankle, pull a hamstring, and I mean like your stars. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about somebody. And granted, Kristaps Porzingis is a key piece to their puzzle, but they've done and gotten this far. Granted, against injured teams as well, but they've done and gotten this far without him, so they don't need him. But it doesn't take anything for Brown or Tatum to roll on, or Derek White for step on somebody's ankle or to pull a hamstring. And I'm not wishing that on anybody, but you just can't play in the playoffs like that. Like you have to take advantage of every opportunity you get because you have to close out when you have to close out. Yeah, it's going to be great to be in front of the fans at TD Garden. It's going to be loud. They're going to be booing the hell out of Kyrie. And I'm interested to see how he does because he's been a totally different player in this series in Boston and that he has been in Dallas. And, I heard a couple of pundits, some of the national people talking about it. They use the word shook. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Kyrie's been shook, but he has not played the same in Boston. And for them to stand any kind of chance of bringing this thing back to Dallas for Game 6, he's got to get you 30, maybe 35, maybe 40 points. He's just going to have to, because you can't depend on the Lively's and PJ Washingtons and those guys to, to drop 15 here, 15 there. I mean, Luka and Kyrie are really going to have to carry this team to victory, much like how Brown and Tatum did in Game 3. But that's what I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how Kyrie plays. Luka's going to be Luka. I'm interested to see how Kyrie's going to react, because if you thought they were loud in the first 2 games, they're going to be loud as hell booing his ass come Game 5.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how Brown and Tatum respond.
Mm-hmm.
Are they mentally tougher, as they've been saying? Are they going to come out and like, you know what, we're not messing around with you guys anymore. We're not going back to Dallas. Tatum's going to go off. Brown's going to go off, and everybody will follow their lead. It's going to, and I really, for a while, because Tatum, I think, is going to finish with 15 points. He was the only one with double figures.
Yeah, I'm looking at stats now. Yeah, he's got 15. Holiday's got 10. Brown's got 10. Hauser has 14. And that's it. That's all the double figures.
Yeah, Holiday was missing layups.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just playing awful. So early on when I was watching, it's just missed shots. And eventually the shots start falling and they'll kind of get into a rhythm and then they'll be good. But it didn't happen. And they just got into a shooting funk, and then the lack of effort, and they quit. It was when Derek Lively hit that three, his first three ever. First three, I think in his
in
NBA
the corner
career.
From the corner, yeah.
You kind of, I almost sent y'all a text with like, oh nah, yeah.
Yeah, that's when you know it's your night.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and Luka's defense has been better. He's moved his feet. It's been a lot better. They couldn't get around him. Him or Kyrie the way they were. And they were doing a good job of funneling, everybody to Gafford and who's that? Some of the bigs in there. So
yeah, but I mean, even in doing that, that works in your favor if you put forth the effort. If Luka doesn't put forth the effort, if he's allowing guys to blow by, then you put the pressure on Gafford, because now he's got to step up defensively, and that leaves Al Horford open for 3, and they're not getting back on their rotations. And of course, Dallas couldn't come out and say it, but Luka's lack of defense is killing him, or up until this point was killing him. And it's not all his fault, but I mean, like, what happens is, and we see it all the time, especially in the NBA now, and now they don't even try to hide it. Everybody switches. You know what I'm saying? Everybody switches on every play, so you don't even have to do a hard pick and roll. Everybody's going to switch as soon as that man, and everybody was switching so they could get a one-on-one with Luka and then blow right by him. And then they were, getting the kind of shots that they wanted. They're going to do much of the same, I think, come Game 5. The difference is, can Dallas's defense rotate and be there? And can you get some type of defensive effort from Luka? And then also, Kyrie on the offensive and defensive end. But I expect Boston's role players to play better. I expect Derek White and those guys to play better. I definitely expect Holiday to play better. He played like trash tonight. A lot of turnovers. Wasn't so much as and of course, the running joke was in the chat. With Scott Foster coming back, that the whistle was going to be for the Mavericks. I mean, the Mavericks got some calls tonight, but it wasn't that much of a difference. By the time they were getting the calls, the game, I think, was out of hand. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes going forward. But I don't know, man. It's been, like I said, it's been lackluster. I want to see a competitive game. Hopefully Monday night we can get a competitive game, because thus far it's been disappointing. I mean, I think obviously Boston looks like they're going to win, but you don't want to take any chances. If you're Boston, you got to close them out, Monday night, because if this thing comes back to Dallas, it could be problems for Boston.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with all that. So hopefully Boston will handle their business Monday and at least put me out of my misery. So we'll leave it there, guys. Monday, we'll see if we're crowning a champ, or if they're gonna go back for Game 6. And if it comes back to Dallas, it's I really strongly believe it's gonna go 7. And
but even think about how crazy that would be if as bad as it's one thing if you're losing 3-0, right? But the first 3 games weren't even close. Except, well, I mean, even the last game, like even game 3 that was close, it was close only because they were down by 25 points and they decided to start playing. So if you can flip that and you can push it to a game 6, and then possibly a game 7, that's an indictment on Boston. Then it's like we looking at Boston like, here y'all go again. Like y'all saying trust us, just trust us all year. And every time you want to trust Boston, they go back to looking like the team that can't figure it out and can't get over the hump. And I mean, if you look at this team, it's pretty much, I mean, a piece here, a piece there. Obviously, not having Marcus Smart, now having Holiday, but the core, as far as Brown, Tatum, and Horford, those guys are still there from the team that played against Stephen. And that team, I thought, should have beaten the Warriors 4-1. Like that Warriors series with them shouldn't even been close. They were clearly the better team, but Steph got hot, and Steph said, "Come on, y'all, get on my back," and it was a wrap. And they couldn't figure out how to, and of course, different coach and the whole nine. But Boston just became what we thought that they would become. Now, hopefully they will step it up and do something at home. But I don't know, Ken. The first 5 minutes of Monday night's game is going to be very interesting. I'll say that much. In the first 5 minutes, we'll know if Dallas is interested in trying to bring that thing back to Dallas. And if Boston goes, conservative, and they could be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. If Dallas is just content to kind of like what Minnesota did, just happy to get one on the board and not get swept, then Boston should coast. But right now, because you look at right now the score is 119-77. If you're a boss, you were like, all right, it wasn't our night, so
Right.
we know what we are and who we are. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I just think you don't want to test the guys like that. That's all I'm saying. Because KP got hurt. Jason Tatum can get hurt. We've seen that happen. It cost them in Game 7 against Miami, and or Jaylen Brown can get hurt.
Yeah.
So and then the whole thing changed. And I think the other thing is, and this may be a moot point, but do you really want to test Luka and Kyrie in a Game 7?
No,
Not with Luka's mindset.
no, not at all.
So
I mean, just if you have to go to a Game 7, there's got to be questions in your mind like, how the hell did we get here? Like we had them down 3-0 and we let them back up. We let them off the hook. And somebody, I just see somebody mentioned in the chat, this is Kyrie's first win again. That right there is mind-boggling to me. Kyrie getting his first win against Boston in 12 games? That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, I agree. Well, tonight it looked like they missed KP. And
they definitely could have used him.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Ken, I don't know how healthy he is. That whole thing about he can be used in certain situations, man, that dude he's got a torn tendon in his foot. He ain't playing. We're not gonna see him anymore this series.
Yeah. And if they playing games, he got two. If that is indeed true, and I don't know what that situation is, they could have just been playing games. At least it gives them 2 more days to rest up and possibly be available for Game 5. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Sure.
We'll be here after Game 5. And we'll go from there. So thank you guys for
thanks for tapping in.
up. Yeah, for real. Because some of y'all probably like us turned away from the game. So we jumped on early. It was like, why are we waiting?
You don't need to wait. Go ahead and get it out the way.
So shout out to Julian. Appreciate the members chat. And Nick, we about to hop off, bro. And we'll catch you guys later.
Nick coming in late.
Right.
Later.